Queen of the stitch, my girl Dane.
Hello there, my crafty knitters. Welcome back to the Knitted Oaks channel. Today I'm going to show you how to knit the herringbone stitch in the round. As you can see here, I have my stitches already cast onto my circular needles, and I have a place marker. And you're going to need that to mark each row that you do. Okay, for the herringbone stitch, both on straights and here in the round, you're going to need to cast on an even amount of stitches. Here, for the sake of demonstration, I casted on 60. And I've placed my marker here at the beginning. Now, the rows are going to be a little bit different. The first row will be the same on the circulars as it would be on straights. As we get to the second row, you're going to realize that it's still going to be knitting. There's no purling involved when you're doing the herringbone stitch in the round. Another clarity that I want to make, I've gotten a lot of messages from some of you here on YouTube about when you're knitting in the round, you get a little gap. That gap is normal, and it will continue to get smaller as you continue to work your pattern. Okay, so let's get started. So make sure you have an even number of stitches, and to begin, you place your marker here. And what you're going to do is go ahead and insert your needle into the back of the first two stitches. And only let off that first stitch. So you're going to go ahead and knit as you would trying to knit two together. Sorry. Focus, camera. So sorry about the focusing, guys. And you're only going to slip off the first stitch. I will post a link to my How to Knit the Herringbone Stitch for you in the bottom. But for those of you who've watched it, you'll realize that this first row is the exact same as the first row in my last herringbone stitch tutorial. And you're just going to do this until you come back to your marker. Okay, so I'm now at the end of my first row. I changed the color of my background because I realized I'm using white yarn, so it might be difficult to see. For future videos, I'll stick to colorful, light colored yarns. Okay, so I'm at the end of my first row, and what I'm going to do is just go ahead and continue as I did. And now you see that I have just one stitch left. Okay, so what you're going to do, this is very important. You're going to slip that stitch off and hold it, and you're going to move your stitch marker to right here. And this last stitch from that row is going to be marked as the first stitch of your next row. And you're going to do that every time you start a new row. You're just going to move your stitch marker over to the other side of that last stitch. Okay? So now, this is actually my favorite part because, again, I learned to knit in the front of my stitches. So when I was told to knit two stitches together, well, this doesn't have to be in front, I apologize. I knit this way. I showed you that the first row you have to go through the back, but for your second row you're going to go through the front. Okay? And you're going to go ahead and proceed as though you were knitting these two stitches together, but again, only slipping off the first stitch. And I also wanted to show you that the gap that was there in the beginning is now gone. It's hiding in here somewhere. So you're just going to continue to squeeze that in there. And make sure you only take off the first stitch. So see, this is a clearer depiction to show you that that long, huge gap that was there to frighten everybody who's trying this for the first time, it goes away as you continue your stitching. I don't know why it does that in the beginning, but it is perfectly normal. So instead of going through the back, guys, you're going to go through the front. And just drop off that first stitch. You're going to continue this, and as you can see, the herringbone stitch is starting to form there. You had the stitches going slanted like this, and now they're going upward like this. Okay, so I'll see you back at the end of this marker. Okay, so here we are at the end of our second row. Okay, and as you can see, the herringbone stitch is forming. So now, the same thing we did at the end of our first row, we're going to do here. Okay, and you're going to move your marker, place it here, and then place this back here. And now you proceed as you did for the first row, because as you know, the herringbone stitch only consists of 2 rows that are repeated throughout the rest of your pattern. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you knit the herringbone stitch in the round.
So hit up the web, stock up your pile so you can keep your body warm and start your day with a smile.